organization is all around building resilient communities to counter terrorism, extremism, and hate in all forms. This is a picture of myself and Dr. Erin Saltman. She was the head of the Meta Dangerous Ideologies. And we are educating girls from, you can guess, an Islamic school. And the reason why we're doing this is because in 2014, I was the person that the UK government basically called to help children out of Daesh mindset. So Daesh, ISIS were grooming young girls into joining, and they were from European countries, they were from the UK, and I saw hundreds of these girls, and it pretty much traumatized me. The reason why I was doing that is my own experience. You can go and look me up, but I have my own experience in this space. And I realized from doing it 2014 to now, knowledge is power. So Erin, she's working for the Global Internet Forum for Counter-terrorism. I was like, this knowledge needs to come to the people and young people. So stop hogging this information and bring it down to those who need it. Then, in 2023, this was me last year, I'd met Alex in Washington, and he invited me to the Oslo Freedom Forum. And I saw a whole bunch of activists and a whole bunch of Bitcoiners, and nobody was talking to each other. It was kind of a very distinct divide. And me being me, I was like, okay, what is Bitcoin? What is it? You know, it's here for a reason. Let me go and find out. So I wandered off into a room where they were doing some like courses. It was intimidating, a bit like right now, but it was intimidating. I was the only girl. Well, there were a few other women, but I was the only woman, and I didn't understand what anyone was saying. But long story short, I did get some of it, and I came out with this orange glow and a whole bunch of friends. And I'm here again because that orange glow lit me up inside. This is something that is being underutilized. This is something I can use with the people that I work with. The refugee communities in the UK, youth, women, this is something that can be used. And I got that. So me being me again, I wanted to take this orange glow and give it to the very people that I already work with. These are women from Somalia, from Afghanistan, they're from Sudan, different places. They are all in the UK, and they all work with me because I've been teaching them how to safeguard their children and their communities from terrorism using knowledge as power. Now can we use finance as power? Of course you can. These knowledge and money is powerful. And this is what needs to be told to the very people I'm working with. And lo and behold, they loved it. They got money. Women get money because we spend it. And we save it, and we understand it, and they knew what it was. And it was a challenge, to be honest, to break something just as complicated as I just heard to what it actually does. But I managed to do it using props and all different things. But they got it. That was the main thing. And this is Alex. I asked him, I said, you know, this is something I want to do after leaving the Oslo Freedom Forum last year. I said, I want to do this. I feel like we have to use what we have. And, you know, these various minority communities, it is an escape mechanism for their families, potentially. I saw that as well. Like my own grandfather fled Uganda in the 70s. He had nothing. And he actually, you know, flushed his money down the toilet. He'd rather do that than give it to the people who were persecuted. So I saw that, and I wanted to educate people on this issue. And I'm quite, you know, got a good network. I don't just do counterterrorism in the UK. We do it globally. So with the power of WhatsApp and the internet, and, you know, why not educate my sisters in Somalia? And I said, you know, these women have been working counterterrorism for many years. I said, I've got something that I think would be very useful for you to know about. And we had a meeting online. We opened up their wallets, and they're like, Hadiya, this is so amazing. I didn't even need to sell it to them. They're like, we have barriers. We want our women in politics, and we cannot get them. There's so many barriers, so many other, people trying to stop our women from getting into politics, but we need a seat at the table. We need to be able to do our thing. And this is also something they're saying was the money, like the middleman type concept, it goes, there is money out there, but it's going to the wrong places. And those who are actually doing the work are not getting a look in. And this is, one of the biggest issues that I have and want to address. Just proof, it was 10 years ago this happened, and the Norwegian government funded Hanan and a few other sisters around taking a stand against al-Shabaab and countering terrorism. And I'm not joking, this was 10 years ago. And the sad thing is, these women are still doing the work with no funding and no money, but al-Shabaab still exist. They haven't gone anywhere, but they're still doing the work. And again, as well, just to add, they're all like Muslim women, so I was saying Bitcoin is halal, like completely halal. They loved it as well. And just more proof, we've got the ears, we're empowering them through education. Now we need to empower these women through finances. Financially, independent women can look after their children, and they can help, safeguard their kids from joining different terror organizations. And this is the same in the UK. They're joining gangs and other things within European countries as well because of money and deprivation. But if the woman can end up earning money, it's not the gangs that will buy their kids' shoes, it's them. They will be buying their own kids the things that they want. That's the dream. And finally, we're interested in tech for good at Groundswell Project. And what we've realized is that in the counterterrorism world and the crime world, they always do heat maps of hate maps. And I was like, why don't we have a kindness map? Where are the people who are doing the good things that are helping the vulnerable people who are joining these types of dangerous organizations? Because when I was doing de-radicalization work, that's exactly what I did. I signposted the young people to boxing clubs, to football clubs, to dance clubs, to, great things that the gems within the communities, provide, and we don't help them. And that in itself is a crime. So our app, you can find out what's in your local area. Then we went a step further. 3 Cambridge graduate developers said, we want to use our skills for good. And I asked them to develop something where they can donate locally. So within your own areas, how can we get rid of the middleman and get this money straight to the people who need resources for their gym that's helping kids off the street? And we can do this model in the areas that I work in various parts of the world where there's a lot of volatility and threat of terrorism. So at the end of the day, this is I see apparently there's a mycelium connection with Bitcoin that I didn't know, but I've always understood that you have to take the resource and give it to the places that need it because, that's what makes sense. And I'm not going to say counterterrorism is easy, but it isn't easy. What it is a collective initiative that we all have to be part of. Otherwise, we cannot challenge this. It's not a government thing. It's not a police thing. It is a people thing that we have to safeguard our communities that we live in and our environment. And from what I understood, Bitcoin can be that powerful tool to do that. And also, the very essence of Bitcoin is to do exactly that, to give it to the people who need it the most. Thank you.